the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Puerto Vallarta in Mexico. Hope you're all having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Porch Light Letters podcast number 2455. Puerto Vallarta, that's where we were today. Yes, we got in here. I have now turned my watch back an hour. We're turning our watches back again tonight. Had a fantastic day. Did a lot more walking than I thought. In fact, I will give you the total. I've got to do them too. Okay, that button there, that one there. Wow. So, we're at 2.8. Okay, so our day started, we docked in Puerto Vallarta and went up, had breakfast. We had a round table again with John leading that. He calls it the power hour. It goes for almost 2 hours. And then we left there, and I wasn't going to get off in Puerto Vallarta, but there was some essentials that I needed that I had left at home or not bought enough of. So I needed to grab some essentials. And so rather than paying, well, when we went down to the shops here on the ship, they didn't have them. And what they did have were brands that I don't use and expensive. So one of the other girls wanted to go. And if you don't know this, when you dock the ship in Puerto Vallarta, directly across the road from the ship, like if you go through the shipyard to the fence and you cross the road, you're at Walmart. There's a Sam's Club with a Walmart next to it. And you can see it. Oh, I should have taken a photo quite plainly from the ship. So this other girl had to go and get some stuff as well. So we went to go and walk over. Now, the last time I was here, to get out of the area, we had to run the gamut with the booths that were all set up on the path leading out of the thing. And we went to this little shack and we went outside. We got on the bus that took us into town. We had the day in town. We came back. This is the previous one that I was on, and caught the bus back, and it dropped us off at Walmart. We went into Walmart, we shopped, we came out, we crossed the road again at the lights, which are directly outside the security piece, the little security hut. We then came in through the security hut and onto the ship. That was not the case. We get off the ship, we follow the path, we go down through all the vendors that are set up in their booths. Last time I was here, they were set up in tents. This time they had these they had these big frames with things hanging off them. One woman was busy tying, had these wraparound pants and had done the front piece and tied it up at the back. Now she was tying the back piece at the front. They're really cool looking pants. And I'm just like, out there in the open. And so we went down there, we went to go, and we walked straight ahead to the little shack thing, the little hut. And they said no. And we're like, what do you mean no? They said, you can't come this way, you have to go that way. And I said, we just want to go across the road to Walmart. No, you've got to go down that path, follow that path, and then you have to go down there and around there and through there and up. And we're like, okay, it's 80-something degrees outside. Humidity is like 73%. It's 9:30 in the morning, around 9:30, quarter to 10 in the morning. So we follow this path. We then find this place. We go, oh, this is where we go. Nope, you don't go here. You got to go follow it all the way down there and then take a left and follow that path. So we walked all the way down the side there, and by now we're passing the back of the ship. All the way down, we turned left. We went through this other part where we had to run the gamut of the timeshares, and then we go into this building, and we're like, what the heck are we doing in this building? Well, it's all duty-free stuff that's there, and we're like, oh, cheapers. So we get through the duty-free stuff, and now we're in this courtyard area, and they've got this couple doing some Spanish dancing with the mariachi band there. Really, really cool. We go around the edge of the square. We then get back into this building again, and we see exit straight ahead. And it was written in English and Spanish. And so we just made a beeline for there. We get down there, and they go, no, you can't come out this way. You've got to go back and go down that corridor, go down there. So we backtracked. We went down this long corridor that kind of wound its way around. And we're like, jeepers, are we ever going to get out of this place? We see another exit. We walk up. No. You got to go back and down there. So we go back and we go down there. And we finally got outside. And then there's a gate over there. And so we headed towards it. No. You got to go that way and around that. It's a parking building. We're now out opposite the parking building. We had to walk around the parking building to get onto the main road. We get on the main road. There's all these taxi drivers standing there waiting to help everybody. And they say, oh, you need a taxi. Who says, no, we're just trying to get to Walmart. Well, see that traffic light down there, which is just outside the hut we first tried to go through. They said, you got to go down there and cross the road there. And then you got to cross the road and go past Sam's Club to get to Walmart. Okay. So we're walking along. Neither of us, I think Lachelle had water with her. I did not have water with me. I was just going with my wallet over my shoulder, and that was about it, and my phone. And so we get down to this crossing thing. We cross over at the crossing. We go further down the street. We cross is we walk past Sam's Club. We finally get into Walmart. We're like dripping wet at this point. And she said, well, how far do you think? I says, that's probably a good mile that we've walked. And so then we grab it, and we couldn't find baskets. We could only find the shopping carts. So we got the shopping carts and we went off around. So here we are standing in the middle of Walmart. This is how, you're going to love this one. They have the signs in Spanish, and underneath in very tiny letters, they have the English. And none of the people who work in the store that we came across spoke any English. They would go to a program on their phone. We had to talk into the phone. They'd just go talk. And so we'd have to ask the question we wanted. Then they'd look at it to see what the question translated, some translation program. We thought, that's brilliant. But then they replied to us in Spanish with all these hand gestures. And so we're sort of like, okay, we're going to go that way. And we just point that way, and they go, yeah. And they nod. So off. So then we're looking at some of the products for some of the things we have to find. And it's all in Spanish. We have no clue. So we pull out our phones, we get onto ChatGPT, we take a picture and go, what is this? Basically, that's what we asked. So we're taking photos of products. We're going, what is this? And it would tell us what it was. Yeah, that's what we need. Yay. We guessed right and put it in the cart. We had so much fun walking around. But one of the things I wanted to get was the connector that goes from my iPhone 17 to which is a C connector, to a 3mm headphone connector, because my Bose noise cancelling headphones, even though they are Bluetooth, for whatever reason, the Bluetooth will not connect to my phone, so you actually have to plug them in. And so we got the adapters worked out, and there was a lot of hand gesturing, and yes, that's the one. And Lachelle had a connector on hers that went to the lightning, the 3mm jack to the lightning. So she shows the woman, this is what we need. And so she takes us over this area, and we pull this, and this. So then we probably spent about 20 minutes in Walmart just wandering around, getting stuff that we needed, stuff that I was running out of, like toothpaste. And I needed to get a pair of Jandals or flip-flops because I didn't bring mine with me. So we got the biggest pair they had available, which luckily fits my feet. And then I wanted a smaller tote bag, which again, I forgot to pack, so that when I'm out walking, I'm not taking my backpack with me every time. So we got that. I don't know, hang on. It's sitting right there, that little black tote thing. Oh, that's the edge of the chair. And so then we had to go check out. Well, I wanted to go through where they serve you, but she said, let's go through the self-checkout one because that'll get us through faster. Well, let me tell you, everything on this machine is written in Spanish. I have no idea what I'm doing. Michelle's offered I have like about 7 or 8 items to, including a liter of Powerade. I needed the electrolytes. It was so bad out there. And it was the only thing I could find that had electrolytes in it that I could understand. And so I scanned all my stuff, and Lachelle only had 2 items to scan, and she's taking longer than I am. So we're scanning these things. I have no idea I do know what was scanning. But then I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do these other ones, okay, that one's the pay button, hit this pay button thing. This other window pops up, and I'm like, what the heck is this? And so, oh my gosh. So I'm like, well, I don't want any of this. It's asking me to put a number in. And I'm like, well, it's not for bags because it's got this bonus stuff over the side. So I guess if you have a card there that you have these bonus points you can use towards your purchase. I don't know. And I'm trying to figure it out. And finally, Lachelle comes over and she goes, oh, I just hit this button down here. And we figured it was a cancel button. It canceled. And I was able to go to the pay screen and pay. But it was fun. So then we finished that, and the bag had a security tag on it. So we had to go over to the desk before we exited the self-serve area and wait for somebody to take the security tag off. They finally took that off. We put I had loaded everything into my tote bag, and it all fitted fine. And then we left, and of course I had to show the receipt on the way out. And the woman's like standing there going through everything and on the list and on the back. Yep, we're good to go. And so now we had to walk back. So we just retraced our steps. As we're going past Sam's, though, they had this refrigeration area door open. And it's sort of like, ooh, that felt good. And so we backed up and stood on the door for a little bit. And this guy, obviously some security guy, comes over, and we're sort of like, oh, we're just taking advantage of the air. We don't want to waste it. And then we went back across the lights. We tried to come back in through the small shed that was there. No, because we'd seen a couple of guys go through there, and we got told no, we couldn't go in, that we had to go to that gate over there. So, and we figured those guys that went through were crew. That's how we figured that one out. So we went back to the gate that we had originally not been allowed to go out, because they turned us away and we had to walk around the parking lot, the parking structure. So we go there. Yes, we had to show our key. We got in. And so then we're like walking through, and we had to walk back through this entire building with all of the zigzagging people constantly at you. Like, you get to beginning of one shop, this guy in the door would start about whatever it was he was trying to sell. We'd just walk past him, get to the next edge of the store, would start up from the next guy. And this happened through the whole thing. We got solicited for timeshares, I don't know how many times. We had some guy who got annoyed with us and kept telling us that we were like his ex. We walked away. But it was some drop he wanted to put on our face, and I'm sort of like, yeah, no, I don't have time for any of that. And we were like exhausted at this point. And by which stage I have also finished my leader of Powerade. And then we get back and we come out of the building, and they now have shuttles going from there over to the ship. We're like, yes. So we hopped on these shuttles that took us back, not quite to the ship, but they had this parking area where they could park. And we still had to run the gamut through the flea market area that was out front of the ship. But we got back on board the ship. I went to our rooms, dropped our stuff off, and then just went straight up to the Windjammer to have lunch, and met another couple of girls that were here on the cruise with us. And so the four of us ended up having lunch together, had great conversations and everything else. And then after that, I was sort of like, I need to go get some sleep, because I didn't get to sleep till like 1:30 this morning, and I was up at 5 o'clock, but I'd lost an hour because we had to move our watches forward an hour. Tomorrow I get an extra hour. And so after that, I came back up, and I was sort of like, I can't take a shower now, because then I'll be sleeping on wet hair and it'll look funky. But I don't want to get into bed with all this sweat and gunk on me. So I thought, we'll do a sponge bath. We'll compromise. We'll do a sponge bath for now. Then when we have our hour-long schnoozle, we'll then get up and go and have a shower then. So that's what I did. Read for a little bit and then went to sleep. And by which stage they were having an impromptu mastermind thing in there. So I just picked up my tote bag with the stuff in it, because I already had it prepared. And we went down to the conference room, where we had another hour-long impromptu mastermind session. And then it was time for dinner. So I came back up via the room to drop my bag off here, and then went down to dinner, and we had great conversations around the dinner table. It was awesome. And while we're sitting at dinner, now, if you have never been to Puerto Vallarta, here is a little thing for you. When the cruise ships come in, they come in bow first, the front, bow first. They come in and park. The problem with Puerto Vallarta Harbour is there's no room for them to turn around when it comes time to leave. So they can't pull out and basically spin on its axis. There's no room for it to do that. They actually have to back the ship out of the harbour until you get out into the Pacific Ocean, and then they turn the ship so we're now facing the right way, and off we go. And so that function all happened while we're at dinner, and we're at the back of the ship, and all of a sudden we would start moving. And then we felt the shudder when it changed from backwards to forwards. And I'm not sure at what point the pilot got, but it is an amazing thing to see. Last time I was here, I was up, I think in the Viking Crown. And the Viking Crown is now called Cosmopolitan Bar. So I was in there and watching the ship back out. It was awesome. It was really well done. You got the bridge all the way at the front of the ship. They're trying to steer out through the back. They're trying to get us out through the back. They did a phenomenal job. And then after dinner, here we are. So I finished dinner. Don't want to go to bed just yet because it's too early. It's only it's 7:30 in that time. It'll be 6:30 once I turn the clocks back. So I'm not sure if I really want to do that. But there's a big but. That whole walking trip from here through the maze of whatever that building was over there, just to get across the road to Walmart and back again, was 2.3 miles. Yes, 2.3 miles. And that included us wandering around inside the mall as well, inside Walmart. But 2.3 miles. And Now that we've been back on the ship, I'm now sitting at 2.8 miles walk today, which is 9,138 steps that I've done so far today, according to my phone. They may have missed some, which wouldn't surprise me at all. But yeah, so we're close to hitting the 10,000 today, but we've currently done 2.8 miles, which means since I got back on the ship, I've walked half a mile since I got back on the ship, because we're sitting at 2.3 when we got back from our wandering. So that's been our day. And now we've got 2 days at sea heading back to Vegas, to Los Angeles. Tomorrow we're going to be doing day 2 of our mastermind for the group. And then it's Wednesday. So then Thursday, it'll be day three of our trip mastermind class thing that we're doing. And we've got different presenters presenting different things. And then that evening I have to put the suitcase out, and my bus leaves for the airport at 8 a.m. So I have to be off the ship before 8 a.m. to get to the bus, get my bag, go through customs, get on the bus to be taken to LAX so I can catch my flight just after 12 to get down to Cabo for the wedding. So that's as far as I've planned. And my flight back from Cabo to LAX as well. So that's been our day. It's been an adventure. Yeah, Lachelle and I call it an adventure today. It was awesome. And it was tropical night or 80s night. So the organisers of our group, they went and got everybody these really cool blue and gold leis that we've been wearing. So for our tropical themed night, and the menu was Taste from the Caribbean. So, but that's it from us from here today. So go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here at some point tomorrow. Not sure when, but we'll be here.